I have three organic things on my table. Well, one is a rock, but it counts as a natural thing because it's of the earth and it's pretty neat looking. If I zoom in on it, look at all the black and then the white and the gray. So I'm going to need 3 tones of color at least. That is a pretty neat looking rock, and it was right next to the playground here at Frontier. Now this was kind of a sucker plant on the bottom of a tree right by the playground. And this was a weed in the gravel right next to this rock. This weed lived there over the summer and it's dying. Now I wanted to show you the top of the plant. That is called the chaff. That is where the seeds come from. Now if I go like this, the seeds come off, and so there are some seeds to this plant. So this would spread by wind. Anyway, we're going to draw these 3 natural items. So let's talk about and think about what we are going to need. I've already said I need white, gray, and black for this rock. What color do I need for this mostly? Green, yellow, some brown. This would be white, yellow, gray, and a little bit of light brown. And it's almost like hair if you look at it. Zoom into this. You see how fine that is? So those lines, we've done straight and curved lines. Those will come in handy. We'll be drawing straight out from the start of where the roots are, right at the crown of the plant, and go straight up with that. And depending on how much time we take on our drawings, the better they will look. Now these are tiny hair-like structures. They're called roots. You've learned about this in science. I know, I've seen the videos already this year, and they were awesome. Hopefully you've been able to draw the structure of a plant. This is the root, this is the crown, and then the branches go up to the chaff of the plant. And so we're drawing those things today. Let's get started. We're going to start with this shape, this rock, and I only need to get the edges of it first to get the contour, and that will be exciting. So it's almost a triangular shape, but I'm looking pretty closely at it, and I'm trying to get the edges or the contour, the outside line of this first. And it may take a couple practice runs, but that's pretty close. It's a little bigger than that, and some things are a little more exaggerated and moved over. Now I'm putting the lines into the crevices and the cracks into it. I'm just looking into this, and I'm kind of shading, and I will go over this with watercolor probably, because that's an easy way to make it look kind of realistic. My lines are really sketchy. They're describing the cracks and the bumps and the high parts and the low parts. And my pencil is telling a story about this rock right now. It's just describing it. It's just singing the song about the rock, if you listen. It's basically just saying this is here and this is here and this goes over here, and I'm this color and I'm this big here and this small here. So if you're really staring at what you're doing and moving your hand with your pencil to indicate those lines, then you're doing the right thing. This is a discovery. You are practicing drawing from life, which I hope you continue to do. Now that is okay for my drawing of my rock. That's where I'm going to start with that. Now I only need a leaf. And since this is, it's not going to be replanted, it's gonna be done here, and we'll recycle this. The shape of this is basically an oval. And I could draw it any way I want to. In your drawing, please choose how you want to lay this out. I'm going to do these on one piece of paper today. I could trace around this if I had the patience, but really, for what we're doing today, let's look at it. I know it has two halves. It gets wider as it comes out, and then it comes in this way. I do need to leave room for my third drawing though. I almost drew a big potato, didn't I? But no, this is a leaf off of a branch that was on a tree. Now I'm noticing this line almost disappears, and these lines almost disappear, but they go diagonally, and then they do spread out like this even at the end, which is kind of special. These are closer together, making it stronger as it's closer to the branch of the tree. I'm learning something about this tree now. And then this comes out, and this edge is kind of ripply, and that helps it look more three-dimensional, and this line is pretty dark. And then I can shade in a little bit if I want to show where the dark parts are, but I can do that with my watercolors also. On this, I'm really interested in the root and part of the flower, but what I need to do is look at it, have it here, and then maybe draw it kind of off to the side. Now these roots are a lot like hairs, and some are long and some are short. And then they are very fine. They have to push into the ground to go get water. They're probably, well, one of the strongest parts of the plant for sure. It's where the nutrients come from. But I want to draw these branches, and then they go straight. They're not branches, they're grass, they're leaves. So they go straight out. They're kind of thick at the top. And then I'm drawing the crown all the way out to the very tips where the chaff would be. I want this to be arching out. Now they're not all following the same pattern. Some are going any which way they can. And that's what plants do. They stretch to get light any way they can. So I've started with something pretty good. I've got a good drawing. Next is paint. I'm grabbing my set of paint right here. I've got everything in place. I do need to clear my objects out of the way. Clean off my paper a little bit. I've made a little bit of a mess. I want to mix this green, and it's not just this color. It's this and this. So yellow and green, kind of a sap green color. I'm close. I need to get a little darker. Did you see how I tried that? Now I need a little more yellow. So I'm blending wet on wet right here. And that is pretty close. Could be a little darker. Let's put that in. But it's not bright green like out of a cartoon or a product. It's a natural color. So it's a little more subdued and yellowish green. It's not plasticky bright. And then I can let that dry and go back into it also. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue mixing the color here and finish this part out. Now your things that you choose, hopefully you choose different things than I did, and you're not just doing what I'm doing here, because it won't be the same. I would like you to have actual objects that you have found around your house and that you are drawing from your life, not from mine, from yours. And then it's your experience, not just looking at what I do and do what I do. I would rather you do your own thing. So we're getting closer to that leaf. I'm seeing now that this end goes more like this. So if I could, I would change that, but it's a little late. I've already painted, but that shape would be more like that. So that's okay. I learned something right there. You saw me learn that, so it's kind of neat. Now, if I go too dark, that's just gonna be too dark for that rock. I'm not gonna have those white parts, and I do want to have those white parts. So I'm going to pick some of that up. Hold on. So here's how we do that. We block that out, but try not to make a mess on another edge. Look at that color. Woohoo! I got right at that gray, but I do need that black. So I don't want a real wet brush because that will bleed all together. And I wrote in some of those spaces, or I drew, sorry. I say write and draw in the same place, but you know, we're indicating information. Writing or drawing, whichever gets the point across. For this, we're drawing. So we're not writing the colors, we're drawing and painting and mixing the colors. I got a little dark in a few places, lifting that out. And if I need to use like a pastel or something like that, I could, but I got pretty close to what I'm doing. To get to this one, I really need to clean my green out because, or my yellow. I had green mixed into my yellow just now doing this, so I need brown, I need yellow, and a little bit of that black. And then my leaves, kind of a light mud color or a buff color. These are roots, and they're lighter actually. Where they're not covered with dirt, they're pretty light. This will work, so I'm just tracing that, my drawing, getting close. I could add a little more yellow because some are more yellow than dark. I'm pushing that grass around with me. He wanted to be here. I've mixed my color over here so I can just pick it up. And I'm getting closer. So hopefully you have found 3 natural, not man-made objects to draw. You brought them in the house and you're drawing. You could label. I could say grass. I could say leaf. And I could say rock. So I do need my name. And these are natural objects. I'm thinking to do them small because it would take a long time to draw a tree. And I don't know if any of us have the patience for that right now, but I would like to see what you painted from or drew from. I have my example here. You can just arrange it together, but please don't make a mess and get mom and dad mad at us because we don't want that. We do need to pick up after ourselves every time. I do need to wash my brush out and pick up my area now, but I hope that you have fun drawing 3 natural objects. Those are things that are of the earth and they're natural, like grass or a weed or a leaf or a stick or a rock of some kind. There's so many different kinds of natural objects. Go out and explore. You might have your favorite rock on your dresser like I do. This is a new one. I'm going to keep it in the art room. But draw me 3 natural objects. You can do it. This will be easier. The more often you draw from life, the better you get with it. And I need to practice too. Have fun doing this. I'll see you later. Send me your work.